Hello, everyone. Uh, Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Today, I will talk on behalf of the National Center of Excellence in Geology, University of Peshawar, and NCGSA. Both of them have asked me to present a talk or a discussion, if you like to call it, on career outreach and entrepreneurship. And I really welcome all of you to this session of the workshop. Well, the task I'm given today uh, is to discuss Mac's two components. Uh, Two components. The first one is career, and the second one is outreach or entrepreneurship. And I believe that the second part is particularly tricky, and it is so because it requires ideas generation and perseverance. Perseverance, if you like to know, is the persistence to achieve something despite all odds or in all challenges. You can call it determination if you want. Here I have included a very a significant quote by Steve Jobs, who all of you know was the former CEO of the Apple Incorporation. Steve says that I'm convinced that about half of what separates successful entrepreneurs from non-successful is perseverance. So determination is a key to all your success while you want to do or while you want to become an entrepreneurship. Perseverance, as you might know, is understandably a hard job. Uh, However, even so, you might be able to see in this slide the most popular skills of freelancing, which is one of the entrepreneurship skills, which is a sort of self-employment where people sell their skills and services through online platforms, a kind of entrepreneurship. And this slide shows a relative trends among different entrepreneurship, among different freelancing tasks or things in Pakistan in 2020, starting from web and graphic designing, which marks or which represents the highest percentage, through the programming, information technology, multimedia production, content writing, translation, marketing, administrative services, customer support, project management, quality assurance, and finance. It's interesting to know or to share with you that according to a Pioneer, which is an online payment system, Pakistan makes the fourth largest country in the world in terms of freelancing, with 47% growth rate after USA, UK, and Brazil. And if you see, it's a tremendous percentage, it's tremendous interest from youth from Pakistan. According to another report published by Pakistan's Ministry of Information Technology, Pakistani youth have earned a big sum of 0.5 billion US dollars, which is equivalent to 85,000 million Pakistani rupees in 2020 from freelancing alone. So you can see the impact. You can see the market trend, the services that our youth is providing to the outer world sometimes through freelancing, and they are earning a huge money through the freelancing services they provide. So this slide just gives you an idea of how does it look like, how the freelancing is working, and how people are actually selling out their skills and services from the ease of their working place using internet services. So why university education? Congratulations, you are in a university, but why? Although it seems as if it should be easy to answer why you are continuing your education, for most people it is not so simple. The reason that people go to college vary from practical, I need new skills for my job, for example, to lofty, I want to build a career life for my family, to vague, why not? I don't have anything better to do. It is likely that one of your primary motivation for attending university is to further your career. In fact, surveys of first years university students at all types of institutions show that almost 3/4 said they want to learn about new things that interest them, get training for specific career, land them in a better job positions, and make more money. Statistics show clearly demonstrates that university education helps people find better jobs. University graduates, for example, earn about 75% more than high school graduates over their working lifetime. And this difference adds up throughout their life. Over the course of their working lifetimes, a university graduate earns close to $1 million more than those with only high school degree. And furthermore, as become jobs become increasingly complex and technologically sophisticated, obviously we all know that the university will become more and more necessity for all of us. Okay, so there are certain additional and most important takeaways from the university education, and it is certainly not only the money, but there are additional byproducts or additional takeaways which come to the university education. The first is you will learn to think critically and communicate better. Obviously, if you have come to a university and you have gone through the process, you learn something different and it opens your mind, it explores your analytical skills, and you're in the position to critically analyze and communicate in a better way with people. The second is that you will be able to better deal with advances in knowledge and technology that are changing the world. You know, we all understand that the technologies in the world are on the move. Every next day has something different to offer from the previous day. And through the university education, you get enough knowledge to cope with that technological changes. You will learn to adapt to the new situations. When you are trained in the university, you will be better prepared to live in the world of diversity. You will have open heart, open mind, and you will be able to accept diversity, and you will make learning a lifelong habit. So these are the takeaways, the additional takeaways that you get while you're studying in the university. This slide or this graph just shows a relative percentage of students agreeing to each statement given on the y-axis of the graph. The upper 6 opinions or statements run almost parallel in terms of percentage, which include to be able to get a better job, to be able to make more money. Among them, these two hold significant position from the student throughout the survey. And obviously, as you go down on the y-axis, the percentages are decreasing, and but there are still people who have other motivation than except earning money from a university education. Okay, so what is a career portfolio? It is a dynamic record that documents your skills, capabilities, competencies, achievements, and goals. Your career portfolios consist of two main parts. The first part includes background information, like about your personal information, your hobbies, which will hold information to help you keep track of your accomplishments and notes on your research. So that makes the first part. The second part includes your resume, your cover letter, which will be the material you want to share with a potential employer. Your career portfolio can either be in the form of a traditional hard copy version, for example, a resume or a CV on a hard paper, or it can be created on ePortfolio online or any online software, and you would like to drop or you would like to share your link, the link of that resource with the potential employer. Not now, but sometimes later in the course of these workshop series, if there is an opportunity, I would like to hold a session on how to prepare your resume or how to include or how to draft cover letter. Obviously, since today I already have a lot of slides or a lot of discussion, so I would keep that to another side if Dr. Shafiq is hearing or if he's here. So he can note it for a future workshop to see that how can we help our students making an effective, effective resume, which can attract the employer. Okay, the fourth one is getting feedback on your resume and cover letter. So after you have created the key elements of your career portfolio, your resume and cover letter, it's time to evaluate their effectiveness. Start by asking a trusted person, such as one of your course instructors or someone on your staff in the university or in the career center, to review what you have created. So you want to have a sort of honest opinion from anyone who can come from your university staff or who can come from careers advisory staff, to see that what sort of elements you have got on your career portfolio. Ask them to provide you honest and concrete suggestions, because the more feedback you receive, the better finished product will be. Obviously, you might have overlooked, or you might have skipped a lot of catchy words or a lot of information which a third person or a fourth person can guide you very elaborately and have a very good feedback on your resume. Once you have received an initial review, one of the best strategies is to ask individuals working in the field in which you are interested to review your resume and cover letter. So this is a second step, that after you have had a review or a feedback on your resume or in your cover letter from your instructor or from a colleague or a friend, it's now time to approach someone working in your field to have a review or a feedback on your resume. There's an extra bonus from seeking advice from someone currently working in the field. What happens that you become known to them, and at some point in the future, they might have an opening that might have you on their mind, and they might call you that, hey, we have got an appointment and an opening, and if you see yourself interested, come and have chat with us or an interview with us. The fifth step in this power series is reconsidering your career choices. Going through the process of identifying your goals, researching careers, and building a career portfolio, may lead you to solidify your ideas about which occupation you like to pursue. That's great. That's the point of career exploration. But even if you are sure what you intend to do professionally, it is important to take some time to reconsider your choices. Ask yourself a few questions. For example, have you been too restrictive or too selective in considering possibilities? Sometimes what happens that you might have got yourself very much restrictive or very much, selective in putting the opportunities. Have you done sufficient research? Have you gone through all these first, second, third, and fourth step? Do you think that you are in the position to explore your career? Have you rejected job opportunities that seem somewhat interesting without carefully considering what they have to offer? So sometimes, in quite haste, people reject or people drop the offers, which later on, when they think might have overlooked, they might have overlooked certain very important aspects or very important career boosts that the job might have been offering them. Have you underestimated or overestimated your skills? You have to be very honest in your skills estimation. You might have to see that whether you have underestimated or you have overestimated your skills. Have you taken full advantage of all resources university offers you in terms of career planning? Don't follow psychologists' term foreclosure. Foreclosure is a term in which a premature decision is taken place with so persistency that you ignore other possibilities. Okay, so never do foreclosure. Never close the doors. Always keep your mind open. Okay, so when you have researched to the end of the first part, the career planning, and as I said, I would like to hold a session on resume preparation as well as interview preparation, high tip of the workshop. I would now like to go to the second part of my presentation, which is entrepreneurship. What is an entrepreneurship? Obviously, when I was searching the website, there are a lot of definitions for that. Some coming from very renowned businessmen, some coming from Merriam-Webster dictionary, and I have picked a very basic definition of the entrepreneurship, which is an act of starting business with intention of turning into a profit. However, in our modern age, the concept of entrepreneurship has expanded to include the act of transforming the world by solving large-scale problems. Obviously, as I said, the world is very fast, and people from the just like me, I'm sitting in my bedroom and I'm talking to people, and I'm sure there are other people who have approached to this link. So it's a very small example. You and we saw the time of this pandemic when the concept of physical office almost vanished. A lot of companies, for example, have started work from home, and they have realized that it is very cost effective, okay, and very effective, cost effective and very effective. And they have obviously reduced a lot of their expenses, for example, which otherwise they were expending on their office operations and all these things. I've included a very famous quote here. It says that the best way to predict the future is to create it. Obviously, because it is then your own product. This graph, for example, I borrowed from someone. It's not very up to date. It probably runs till 2000. What do you call it? Three, starting from 1980. And it gives you a sort of idea of what is happening in terms of the trends in private investment percent of gross domestic product. And there are only 3 countries included in this: India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. And you can see their relative position. Obviously, India is the top, starting from 1980. Obviously, the data starts from there, and it goes all the way uprise. And then in 1995, 96, it gets a spike, and then it becomes normalizes with few undulations. It is followed by Bangladesh, obviously in middle way, somewhere in the middle. Bangladesh has slumped down, and it has gone up very steadily from then onward. If you see to Pakistan, it was good. Going good until the 90s, and then it has come down, and from 1998 onwards till 2002, it is coming down. So it is just a relative, what do you like to call it, a trend in the private investment, which is happening in these countries. And there is obviously a significant a room for improvement if we are talking of Pakistan. While we even want to compare, obviously we're not talking about the Western countries. We are just talking about their immediate neighbors in the continent, and we still have a lot of room for investment, a lot of room for improvement. And obviously this is the gap. This is the gap which identifies the opportunities between these different graphs. Okay, so this slide tells you characteristics of successful entrepreneurs. Obviously, people had been describing a lot of characteristics of the entrepreneurs, but we have summarized here. Can you hear me, please?
Yes.
Hello.
We are
yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry.
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Okay. So there are obviously I have borrowed this from someone. People have unanimously agreed that a successful entrepreneur should have the passion for business. Okay. The first thing, the first prerequisite is the passion for business. The second one, is the product or the customer focus. You need to know that what sort of customers you, for example, want to target. The third is execution intelligence. Obviously, it makes a very important ingredient or component of a successful entrepreneur. To see that how would you like to execute the project you might have in your mind. It doesn't have to be necessarily a project, because entrepreneurship does not only include a product. It can even be a service. For example, if I'm giving a consultancy service, I have to see that what sort of execution intelligence I have. Why should someone give that project to me if they have certain competent people in the market? Okay. How do I grab that project through my competency, through my execution intelligence? And the other one is tenacity despite a failure. There are instances, for example, a lot of time you might not deliver the way you want, which is absolutely right. Okay. As I said, if you can remember from my first slide, the Steve Jobs quote, it says perseverance, which is a consistency in your efforts despite of all failures. This slide includes the attributes, qualities, and characteristics of an entrepreneur. You have to have an inner drive to succeed. Okay, because what most of the entrepreneurs have mentioned while they reach the success is something they created was their production or was their product. So you have to have this thing in your mind from the first step of the ladder. The second is strong belief in themselves. You always have to have a very strong belief in yourself, because Steve Jobs, Microsoft, Bill Gates, all those guys are obviously people like us. They were not supernatural. So there is a strong need of the sense of strong belief in yourself. Search for new ideas and innovation. Obviously, you'll have to have a lot of background studies, background information about the newness in your field, the innovation that you want to bring, or the innovation that is needed in the market. Openness to change. That's a very important quality if you want to stick to something. Obviously, there are least chances of success. You will have to have this characteristic or attribute in you to admit change very openly and be ready for that. Competitive by nature, obviously, it's a very robust process. It requires a lot of your, patience. So you have to be very competitive. You have to have a very smart approach for execution, as I said. Highly motivated and energetic. Obviously, it sucks your energy, it sucks your motivation. So you should not be let down by the odds that come in your way. An acceptance of constructive criticism and rejection. You have to be very open. If you want to improve your product, if you want to improve your services, you cannot just say that, well, I'm the perfect or my product is perfect. No, you have to be open to accept the constructive criticism or even rejection. That's absolutely fine. In the following slides, probably few, I have included the common myths about entrepreneurs which people have in their mind, which I would say stop people from progressing in this world. The first myth is entrepreneurs are born not mad. Okay, sometimes we say that entrepreneurs, ये बंदा तो पैदाइशी ही entrepreneur hai. So this myth is based on the mistaken belief that some people are genetically predisposed to be entrepreneurs. Well, no. The answer for that is no. The consensus of many studies is that no one is born to be an entrepreneur. Everyone has the potential to become one. Okay, so how many of us, for example, or how many of our students have bothered to visit the nearby Namak Mandi to see how is it happening? Something that we study, something that we teach is totally different. Something people do in the market, obviously. Whether someone does or does not become an entrepreneur is a function of the environment, life experiences, and personal choices. So it is these three motivations behind you. The function of the environment. Sometimes what happens that we will discuss the environmental function in the coming slides. But if you consider a situation in which a graduate is not getting a job, we have seen, or in our life, and we have seen on the horizon of the world, that people get that challenge into an opportunity, and that environment drives them to become an entrepreneur. Life experiences and personal choices. Obviously, there are experiences that come with life, and there is a personal choice for some people who like to become entrepreneur, and there are obviously certain other group of people who doesn't want to be, which is obviously this is not for them. The second myth is entrepreneurs are gamblers. Many people say that, well, if you going for investment in, say, gemstone sector, you might be gambling your money. Most entrepreneurs are moderate risk takers. Okay, yeah, there is some risk involved. The idea that entrepreneurs are gamblers originate from two sources. The first one is entrepreneurs typically have jobs that are less structured, and so they face a more uncertain set of possibilities than people with traditional jobs. Obviously, a job is something which at many times is not helping you to do to think of as an entrepreneur. And if you see that the successful entrepreneurs of the world, most of them did not have any structured job. They might have had the freelancing. They might have had the a loose-ended job, but obviously they didn't have any traditional job. And the second one is many entrepreneurs have a strong need to achieve and set challenging goals, a behavior that is often equated with risk. So this behavior, which is based on need to achieve and set challenging goals, people actually most of the time misread it as a risk-taking thing. The third one is entrepreneurs are motivated primarily by money. Yeah, we hear this quite often that, well, usko to paise pasand hai. Yeah, that's why he's doing that. While it is naive to think that entrepreneurs don't seek financial rewards, obviously they do seek financial rewards. Money is really the reason entrepreneurs start new firms. जो सर्वे हुआ है उसमें it has been found that, or through interviews from different entrepreneurs, that it was not the motivation of money that drove them to become entrepreneur. Rather, it was a pursuit. Most of the entrepreneurs thought and warned that the pursuit of money can distract them from their original goal. Okay, so this myth is not, this is a myth, obviously, and it has been barely denied by successful entrepreneurs that their only motivation is to earn money. The fourth myth is entrepreneurs should be young and energetic. Well, obviously we do listen that, we do come across people that, you know, there is a time for earning money or there is a time for establishing a firm. The most active age for business ownership is 35 to 45 years old. While it is important to be energetic, okay, investors often cite that strength of the entrepreneur is their most important criteria in making investment decisions. Okay, so investors, when they were interviewed or when they were asked, they thought that the entrepreneur's strength, they regarded it as the most important investment decision. What makes an entrepreneur strong in the eyes of an investor is experience, maturity, solid reputation, and track record of success. So if you consider these attributes, which is experience, maturity, solid reputation, and track record of success, these criteria rather favor the older rather younger entrepreneurs. So what I'm trying to say, or what they have been trying to say, is that there is no age restriction. Obviously, it's very good to start it earlier because you have patience, you have energy, you have. But even if you get old, there are certain other characteristics or certain other properties or benefits. For example, your experience, your maturity, your solid reputation, and your track record, which can compensate your site. Okay, so what is an opportunity? Opportunity is a favorable set of circumstances that creates a need for a new product, service, or business. Okay, An entrepreneurial opportunity is a situation in which the change in the technology, economic, political, social, and demographic conditions generate the potential to something new. So, you know, you want to see an opportunity. You want to see the better time for product launch. You want to see the better time to advertise your services. You want to see a better time to launch your business. There are certain driving mechanisms, the technology, the economics, the politics, the social and demographic factors, which help you, or if you were sharp enough, they might help you to identify an opportunity. In the following slides, we will discuss the approaches, observing trends to find an opportunity. The first approach is observing trends. You want to see the trends, what is happening in the market. Environmental trends suggesting business or product opportunity gaps. Okay, so you might like to see that. Well, for example, in the nearby gemstone market, there are people who are very good, but there is, say, for example, a strong lack of customer services. There is a strong lack of a conducive interaction with the customers. There's a strong link of attracting the customers, and you might like to come with these attributes and launch your product. Okay, so the economic forces, social forces, technological advances, political and regulatory changes are all these things which might give you an advantage over someone else to think of a business product or a service and identify an opportunity gap. You might like to see or find the difference between what is available and what is possible. And this is the point which helps you in launching your new business, your new product or services, for example, in our case as a consultant. So the economic forces includes or might come under state of the economy, level of disposable income, consumer spending pattern. You might like to see that these, what do you call, characteristics, you might like to see that what sort of spending a consumer pattern includes. What do they like, what they don't like, the level of disposable income, the state of the economy, because it's very important to see, for example, if you want to launch your a new shop in a Centaurus, and you are a new business, business guy, obviously nobody would suggest you to do that. You'll have to see that whether it really suits you or not. You might have to see certain alternatives. There are a lot of other alternatives which might help you in that way. Then there are social forces. For example, there are social, cultural trends, demographic changes, what people think is in. Obviously, you might have to see that what people really like, what is the trend, how does it work? Okay, I think I have got a call from Dr. Shafiq. I think I have gone too far. Okay, so the second approach, so that was observing trend. The second approach is solving a problem. Sometimes identifying opportunities simply involves noticing a problem and finding a way to solve it. It's always like that you launch a product or someone launches a product, but that product comes across a problem throughout their working career of the product. And then with that problem, they launch another product or they bring innovation. And these problems can be pinpointed through observing trends and through more simple means such as intuition, serendipity, or a change. For example, there's an example for that. A problem facing the US and other countries in finding alternative fossil fuel, or large number of entrepreneurial firms like this wind farm are being launched to solve this problem. Okay, so there is an alternative when you come across a problem, and that is an opportunity. The third approach is finding gap in the marketplace. Gaps in the market. Third approach to identify opportunities to find gap in the market. A gap in the marketplace is often created when a product or a service is needed by a specific group of people, but does not represent a large enough market to be of interest to the mainstream realtors and manufacturers. And here I have included this example. When in 2000, Tish realized there were no guitars in the market made specifically for women. To fill this gap, they started a very particular type of guitar, and it has really become very famous after that. This is just a summary of, if you like, how does it work. Obviously, you want to see the environmental trends, the economic factors, the social factors, technological advances, political and regulatory changes. You know, sometimes what happens that the product or services might be discontinued because of new regulatory framework, and then that is now the time for a new entrepreneur to launch new services, to come up with more competitive market and more regulatory friendly, and that is where they create a business opportunity. And then there are personal characteristics, as we discussed in the past slide. This is just a cycle, how it works when you want to become entrepreneur. The first decision, obviously, you want to become an entrepreneur. The first portion of my talk was career. Obviously, if you're a career guy, or if you're happy enough to find a career, then obviously, you might not, these things might not appeal you, but the reason we included this talk in this workshop was I'm giving you a very simple example. If we talk of geosciences, for example, someone told me that these days, probably more than 2,000 or 3,000 graduates are being produced by universities in geology throughout the KP. And we know that the level of employment we have, obviously, there might be very few % of those guys or that youth being accommodated. And then in the what do you call it, in the desire of becoming a career guy, we are actually lacking behind, or we are losing very good opportunities to become entrepreneurs. Okay, you can become entrepreneur in Gemstone, you can become an entrepreneur to have your own consultancy firm. There are a lot of success stories. You can become entrepreneur to make a small level lab, for example, on geotechnical, on environmental sciences, and you might pool your resources to different friends. You can have a consortium. So this is all possible, obviously. Only if you don't only focus on the career side of your life. So the first thing, obviously, you want to decide that you want to become an entrepreneur. Then you want to see the opportunities and generating ideas. You have to recognize them. Then you have to do feasibility analysis. You might like to see that whether the product or the services or anything that I want to launch, whether it has any feasibility in the market. Then you want to write a very good business model or business proposal in which you include all your resources, and you want to see what you'll have at the end. Then you want to see the industry competitors analysis, preparing legal and ethical grounds, preparing new venture finance, viability, and getting funding. And then obviously getting, sometimes you might get even loan, and you might like to kick off your product or services or business, whatever you like it. Business tips from a billionaire. Opportunity lies in the place where complaints are. Okay, so if your business is going smooth, that means there is no innovation. It's not going to progress. It will go on. There will not be any diversity. If you don't give up, you still have a chance. Giving up is the greatest failure. Put the customers first, the employees second, and the shareholders third. If you have never tried, how will you ever know if there is any chance? Look at challenges as opportunities. As I said, if you come across challenges, if you had a strong sense of entrepreneurship, you can turn those challenges into opportunities. Forget about your competitors. Just don't think about your competitors. Just focus on your customers, okay? Just focus on those who you really have to care for. Go big or go home, otherwise you're wasting your youth. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Irfan, for a very enlightening talk. Let's move to quick questions. Do you have any questions? Maybe you have to complete. You have that mic built in. Stand in front of the camera. Assalamu alaikum, sir. Can you hear me?
Gigi, please.
This is Jahanzeb, PhD scholar in NCG. And, thank you for such a nice talk, and it's very nice to see you after a long time. My question is regarding the entrepreneurship, and I want to ask you that what could be the best platform to advertise the product or the services? You got me, sir?
I think there was some noise, Janzeb sir. I don't know. There is some lot of disruption.
Can you hear now? Can you hear now?
Yeah, there's sort of echoing. The sound is I don't know.
Is it clear, sir?
G. If I don't know how it works. G.
I'm repeating my question that what could be the best platform regarding the services or the product in the entrepreneurship?
I'm really sorry, I cannot hear you exactly.
That's the question.
Is there any way, Dr. Shafiq, is there any way to write? Can someone write it in the chat?
Check your WhatsApp. Check your WhatsApp, please.
G. Hello. G. Hello. जी व्हाट्सएप से मैं आवाज आ रही है जी जी, a very valid question, Zaib Saab. Obviously, it's like selling your services, and it becomes particularly challenging when you have a lot of people in the market. Okay, if I talk of myself. And my services, for example, when we decided to provide services, there were a lot of people in the market, and they were really doing good work. Okay, so we had to come with certain different competency statement, and there are always, if you people have gone through the project management initials, there's always a triangular of scope, focus, and what do you call it? Scope, time, and money. Okay, and people like to see that what sort of what competitive you are providing here. Either you are competitive in terms of your finances, for example. If a project is advertised somewhere and someone is doing that project for say 10 million, but you wanted to reduce your costing and you want to do that on less than that, few couple of millions. So that might actually give you an opportunity. Or you, for example, if you have already entered and you're a new service provider and you have shown a sort of flexibility to come up with the desires or with the demands of your client, they might entertain you in your in their future what do you call it, projects. So it's very easy, but it's very hard. You will have to reach people, as I said, just like in the career. You might have to have personal interviews with the people. You might like to sell your skills to the people. It's exactly like this in your services. You might have to tell people, you might have to see them, you might have to come to them through certain reference, because as I said, it's very competitive. Okay, and once you are in this cycle and you have delivered, there's always a room for growth. There's always a room for getting more and more business. So you'll have to reach people. You'll have to tell them that this is the work we can provide. This is the sort of services that we can provide. And hey, this can be competitive in terms of finances from other service providers. Yeah, this is how it should work. Hello? Indeed,
maybe you can elaborate more on how to use social media for marketing of your services, marketing of your product, marketing of your research. How to use social media for that purpose?
Yeah, social media. If you mean by social media resources like Facebook, like WhatsApp, obviously it's very easy to use that. Just like we do regular status, we do. But you know, there comes a time when you have to have a certain structured website. For example, a lot of institutes, for example, if you want to browse them, they really don't have any information about what sort of consultancies they are offering. Okay, it's really not very interactive. There's no information whatsoever about what sort of and given the survival you have or we have or any firm can have, you'll have to like the first thing that should come in someone's in front of someone's eyes is the services that you can provide them. Okay, so that is where they pick you. And if you want to reach people through WhatsApp, that's always possible. But if you ask me, I would not recommend that, because WhatsApp is obviously considered a personal medium of interaction, just like your cell phone. So you can still use LinkedIn, for example. There are ways you can reach out to the outer world. There are ways you can reach out to your local clients. You can use Facebook, and the more structured form will be to have an interactive website for your services. Or if it's not a website, you can even have a section in your website about the consultancy services you can offer. So that is how the people can possibly know about your services.
Any person from the online participants with the hand?
Any question from online participants. I think that's it. That's up.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much
It's
for your
almost
time.
yeah, it's almost midnight for me. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for attending the talk. Thank you.
Thank you. Good. Okay. Thank you very much.